my two guys. Yeah.
Wow, all point guards.
All point guards. Worcester's finest, the Coos, and then El Amin, the I don't know. I would say the greatest overweight point guard in college basketball history.
You guys are live now. Go.
Appreciate it, Marshall. So while you guys immediately go into college basketball, I am zoned out, absolutely. But how you guys doing? I guess I'll just take over. No, I'm kidding. One of you is definitely the host of this, so please, welcome. It's a pleasure to see your faces.
Thanks. It is my birthday. I just
Happy
want
birthday, man.
out there to know if they care. I'm wearing my Nomar shirt on my birthday.
Love it.
Because you know what? It's my day, and no one is going to take away my civil liberties. Damn it!
And Nomar had what, like 4 home runs on his birthday one day. So listen, you're getting some action on your birthday.
He had a big game back in the day. I think this was 2002. I think that you're describing.
Something like that. Something like that.
It was a pretty good year for him, but. Yeah, here we are on the weekend. It's nice to see your smiling faces. It's nice to see you, Mason, in the studio. What is it like at Beasley Media Boston?
Well, let me tell you something.
My name is Ace, and I've been on this case.
I'm just on this case, guys. It's I'm one of the lucky ones. Things haven't really changed for myself. I can't say that for a lot of people, and I hope everyone's safe out there and can do what you can do. In the time being. So, I mean, I don't have a lot of fun quarantine stories because life has kind of remained the same besides no live sports. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later with what's coming up Sunday afternoon, the Jordan thing. If you're in or out on that, if that's not great, I've lost all hope until quarantine's over. So that's the one thing I'm really looking forward to save my sanity in this time being.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Let's get an in or out on. So I saw Liv Chats, who, no offense to Dan, but it was a garbage take for me. I love watching old games. Maybe this makes me the minority. So are we in or out on watching games that have already been played, or say like Ali Frazier 1, which was on ESPN last night? Can we get into that, or do we need fresh new sports and just to survive?
The only old games I like watching, honestly, are UConn basketball games. Other than that, I have zero and old Patriots Super Bowl games probably. But other than that, I have zero interest in watching like an old regular season Celtics basketball game. Does like the 09 Celtics or even the 08 Celtics, like regular season or postseason, does zero. It doesn't move the needle for me at all. It really doesn't. So yeah, no, doesn't do anything for me. You know what? I'll talk 2018 Eastern Conference Finals with you all day long. I would be happy to do that.
Yes.
But in terms of actually watching like old games.
In that.
Yeah, great article on 98.5 The Sports Hub from Sean Sylver. Definitely go check that out. I'm in on it to a degree. I can't watch like 4 in a row. Like I'll watch, I think it was 2 weekends ago, the Celtics. It was a regular season game. The Warriors 75 game home win streak or whatever the hell that was. That was cool. I'd watch that. But yeah, there's a degree, like, I don't know, Olynyk game 7 against the Wizards a few years ago. I'm not really concerned about that. I'd rather.
Yeah.
But I did watch
Olynyk, the greatest game of his career.
It absolutely was the T-Rex. I got him mad money, but I actually watched a little bit of Ali Frazier, but I can only watch and before that there was a little bit of Tyson. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but then I quickly zone out and I need something else.
Yeah, I'm with you. What was your biggest takeaway from? I mean, you wrote the article online, Sean. So kind of take us through that and kind of your thoughts on that 2018 Eastern Conference Finals. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. 985thesportshub.com. Sean Sylver, probably easily one of the top 15 writers on the site. No question about that.
I don't even know if there's actually a full roster of 15. So I thank you for the promotion. Really, it was just like an idea. Like, we're not working, in radio, and weekends now are generally just broadcasting old games. So I figured, all right, well, what if we could find some way to get excited about these old games and talk to some folks, like some of my contemporaries at the station who I'm not seeing so much, see how they felt about it. So this week on the Hub, yesterday afternoon, they played Game 1 of the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Cavs. And of course, is where the Celtics had been in the ECF the previous year, but just kind of got swept right out the door. They'd made the move for Kyrie. They'd added Gordon Hayward, and then obviously best laid plans went to hell. And you had kind of like a mash unit with some young guys leading the way. And if you look back on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's contributions in the playoffs, and particularly in that series, it was kind of like a foreshadowing of things that were to come. So, I wanted to reach out to you guys, get a couple of takes, and I'm going to, hopefully every weekend as we play an old classic game on 98.5, kind of reach out to some folks from the different shows, maybe potentially get somebody who was in the game or like that. To talk about their experience. So hopefully going to continue doing that because we need new stuff out there in the blogosphere as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Definitely try to venture out and get some new content. So I think you're doing a great job with that. I mean, I've been trying to do something you'll see on the Weekenders channel right here. Please like and subscribe and comment below. I've been trying to do some funny things, whether it's wacky moments in broadcasting history, just trying to, bring the entertainment to the fans and to ourselves to kind of laugh a little bit so we don't cry. So that's what I've been aiming for.
Are we promoting this properly? Like, I just jumped over to Twitter right here to make sure that like people know that this is going on. Marshall set this meeting up. He said a little shout out saying, "Hey, we're this is going on." But I guess we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Like, are there other mediums out there that I'm not aware of?
I'm not sure.
Sean's being abducted a little bit.
You got the dial-up internet. Someone is trying to get on the phone or something like that right now because your dial-up internet is tough. But maybe we can get you back in a little bit. But Mace,
I've got Fios, baby. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe you should cut the cord then.
You go back to that 2018 series. What were your biggest takeaways when you go back to that article that he was talking about? Like, where did you kind of stand with that team, and what were your kind of thoughts initially when you came back to that series? It is crazy when you go back and look at it, by the way. I mean, you can make a real case that they should have won that game 7. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Tatum is taking over that game, and then all of a sudden they go away from him for the last 6 or 8 minutes of that game, and LeBron kind of gets the better of him. But that was a winnable game for a team like Sean mentioned. Didn't have Kyrie Irving or Gordon Hayward. Crazy.
Yeah, I believe it was either the lowest or second lowest. What was it? 79 points they ended with. They had the entire season.
That was a tough watch. Yeah.
If they had a bad shooting night, they would have won. But it was historically awful.
Rozier was brutal. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And so many others. Marcus Morris. The list goes on. But yeah, after game 1 and after the first quarter of game 1, as Sean put in the article, leading by 18 and then winning by 25, you're like, is this really going to happen? And because we know I don't know, us Celtics fans kind of have like this, they match up kind of well against the Warriors, against maybe top 3 teams in the league. They're like, all right, Celtics kind of have a chance to make this a series and not like a 4-0, 4-1 series defeat. So get to the finals and see what the hell happens. But in the end, obviously, that dreadful game 7, but in the end for Tatum and Brown to have that playoff experience, that was incredibly instrumental for how they're going to be moving forward. And, if an NBA season returns, I just expect them to get better and better. And obviously both of them borderline had all-star seasons.
My biggest thing was I can't wait for next year, because look, they weren't going to beat the Warriors. They're going to get the finals. I couldn't wait to see them you add a team that should have potentially gone to the finals. You add Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward to that. I thought they were a lock next year to make the finals. And obviously Kyrie Irving, being the unbelievable teammate that he is, hijacked the season afterwards. And the best thing that happened is that he walked out the door.
I'm appalled.
Yeah, but
I'm appalled with Kyrie.
There you go. But certainly didn't live with the expectations that year after. When you talk basketball, I am wildly excited for tonight. More so than even sports coming back. I can't wait to see this documentary. Sylver, why are you out on this? That's what I don't understand.
There's just there's nothing else you can say about Michael Jordan that hasn't already been said. Like, his career has been examined 6 ways to the weekend. He's the greatest of all time by, everybody's estimation. We don't need to spill more ink or waste more breath on Michael Jordan. Like, what goddamn stone is going to be unturned tonight that I haven't heard about? I already know why this team was in the position that they were in and why they fell apart. Maybe like the layman doesn't. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but I'm a person who, understands basketball from 20 years ago and why the Bulls, that was their last run. So I don't know. I guess I'm just a bitter old man. I'm 37 today. Basically my first
Old
3
man.
years as like a hardcore basketball fan, Bird was breaking down and then retired. And then Jordan made his ascent. And the NBA that I first saw in the late 80s, early 90s, they added expansion teams. They slowed it down. They moved in the three-point line. And they basically made up like a solar system of superstars where Michael Jordan was the sun. And to me, like, hoops was still interesting. I played it. I still was a hardcore fan, but it just wasn't as good of a product as the thing that I initially fell in love with. And it was like, I mean, if you look at the Eastern Conference in like the 80s, I mean, it was good teams. It was like good teams. Like, you had the Bad Boy Pistons, you had the Celtics, you had the Sixers with Dr. J and Moses Malone, and then you added Charles Barkley. Like, the Bucks were really good. They were never making the NBA Finals, but they were really good. You had like 4 or 5 teams in the East in that decade that were like, all right, these teams can be finals contenders. I mean, and like basketball, I don't know what happened in the 90s. It's just like the overexpansion was like garbage. Like, teams had 2 good players, and the Bulls had Jordan and a few other guys. And that's no offense to Scottie Pippen, and they just dominated everybody.
Yeah, only the best second player of all time, or 2-man of all time, just some other guys.
Second banana. But,
yes.
But I mean, it just, I don't know. It was very predictable. Like, you just knew the Bulls were going to get to the finals every year and dismantle people. They were very good. We know Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. The stats prove it. Like, what else is there to be said at this point? Is this to like quiet up the people who say that LeBron is better, because those people are idiots?
I don't think that's it. I think it's the drama behind, because obviously the past year, 2 years, 3 years here in New England, we've been talking about the drama and the conflict between Brady, Kraft, Belichick. We're going to see this with Jordan in the front office. I am very interested to see who, at the time, obviously, and still is greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, how even obviously egos run wild. And I don't know if you saw like the short 5 minutes that they posted a couple days ago. One of the people call it the short fat GM or whatever, just saying,
Krause.
Yes, Krause. He wanted all the accolades. It's like, dude, it's fucking Michael Jordan. You just shut up and be in the back. So I'm interested to see that kind of that clash. And we see a motivated and pissed off Brady. We're gonna see like the behind the scenes of how a Jordan got motivated to tear down the league in the 90s.
It is crazy when you watch that stuff. Like, I honestly, so in 98, I'm like, 9 years old. So obviously, like, I knew the Bulls, I knew Jordan and stuff. I don't know entirely the inner workings of the Bulls and why like Krause kind of did what he did and why they ripped it down. Like, I'm not super, I kind of know the basics, but I don't know like the real inside story of that. So I am excited. Listening to that 5-minute clip though, absolutely kills me from where sports were to where they are now. Like, Jerry Krause gets the job for the Bulls, but he's a baseball scout at the time, and they're like, all right, whatever. Yeah, you can do it. And now it's just like, you got an analytics department. You got to be from like Yale, Harvard, something like that. It's funny how much it's changed, but I'm interested in it because I honestly, I don't know, all the backstory to why this stuff happened. I do draw parallels a little bit to what's happening with the Patriots right now, because I'm a guy that doesn't necessarily think you needed to tear it down and get rid of Brady right now. And it seems like it's kind of, parallel situations when you talk about the Bulls and getting rid of Jordan. Like, why are we doing that? I don't necessarily understand that, but I'm excited for it. The one thing I'm nervous about, though, is it looks like he bullies my guy Scotty Burrell a bunch in this here, Sylver. and I don't necessarily want to see Scotty Burrell have to go through that.
Great player, that Scotty Burrell.
The best
Player. wouldn't be the only person that Jordan bullied. I mean, and I get it. Like, and again, maybe this is just me, being like, the Chevy Chase character on Community and just being really out of touch. But like, I guess millennials growing up as basketball fans, not to like, and I am a millennial. I am the first year of millennials, so technically I'm a millennial. But I guess people need to figure this stuff out. Like, we've been told all this stuff about LeBron for 17, 18 years now, and I guess we need to be reminded about Michael Jordan. Mind you, his 2009, Hall of Fame induction speech was basically 20 minutes of him reminding people that he's the greatest of all time when he's getting in the Hall of Fame. Everybody freaking knows that. So
sometimes you need a reminder.
Yeah. It is scintillating, but I've always been like the kind of person who's just kind of like, don't give me the front office drama stuff. Don't give me like millionaires who can't play happily with their toys. Like, give me the games. Give me manufactured beef, like James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo feuds and stuff like that. Give me that kind of beef. Like, I don't need to hear the inner workings about like power struggles and contracts and people who don't feel they're appreciated enough. Which is why I was out on the whole "where's Brady going" thing. I didn't give a crap where Brady was going. I didn't think the Patriots were winning the Super Bowl with him, and I didn't think that the team that they were going to go to, if he did leave New England, was going to win the Super Bowl either. And so that was just my take. Why dissect it? There's no way that we could predict what was going to happen. What was going to happen was going to happen, and then it did. I realized also that we work in sports radio, and we need to talk about this stuff to have jobs. So
no doubt. I got to be honest. I'm completely opposite from you. Give me all of the drama you possibly can. I eat it up. I love it. I borderline like that more. I'm the guy that fast forwards the actual seasons in Madden and then just does the off season. Like, I want the drama, the moves, the trades, all that stuff. Okay. And to your point too, Sylver. I mean, honestly, everyone in their 20s, everyone knows who Michael Jordan is, but everyone in their 20s right now really didn't watch Jordan play, right. and they really don't know necessarily some of this stuff that went on. So I do think it's going to be really informative to a younger generation. And it is pretty interesting, too, because I read an article where Jordan had this stuff like locked up in Secaucus, New Jersey. And then after the Cavs won in 2016 and LeBron wins in Cleveland, he's like, all right, let it go, release it. We'll put this documentary to go to kind of cement his kind of status. So I'm looking forward to it tonight. I think it's going to be really entertaining.
Well, maybe I'll tune in. I mean, maybe, but I think what you just said right there, Tim, is my main thing on Jordan. Like, he's the greatest basketball player of all time. There was no one who was as physically dominant as a guard, and also as quick, elusive, and explosive. I mean, he had absolutely everything. There's no questioning that. But even bigger than that, he is an extraordinary businessman, and he manages his brand better than anybody who's ever done it. So, yeah, he had this stuff locked away, and he decides that it's time to shed light on it. That's obviously just another masterstroke by Jordan in getting his legacy, the proper amount of recognition that he feels it should get.
The last thing I'll say on that is, I'll ask you guys, do you think the gambling stuff takes almost like a center stage for a full episode, or is it brushed aside? Because if it's just brushed aside, I will have a problem with that and be like, this is not transparent at all. You lost me. And would we even have this much interest in it if we weren't in quarantine, if there were live sports going on, if it was airing tonight with sports happening?
It's a good question. I mean, they moved it up. Initially, it was supposed to. I think it was going to air in right
August, after the finals, I think, or something. Yeah,
or
maybe
in the
August.
summer. Yeah. So they moved it up. So obviously, I don't think it would have as much interest, but I still think it would have a lot of buzz because it is Jordan. The gambling stuff, I don't necessarily know they're going to hit on it because it's about the last season, not necessarily his whole career, right? So I don't know how big of a factor that necessarily played in it. The one thing that kills me is you watch all these highlights of Jordan, and it's all these like mid-range turnaround jumpers, and he was super efficient with it. Don't get me wrong. I went back and looked at it. But his game, just like if you watch in today's game, you're like, what are you doing? What? Why are you? Why are you taking this?
Why don't you just back up 3 more feet? This guy's terrible. Terrible court awareness from this Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it's funny how much the game has changed in just the short amount of time. That I mean, look, he was on the Wizards in what, 2002? And really, you go back to even like 2008. Some just like the 3-point attempts in the game, how quickly it's flipped over the last like 5 years to where you watch some of this stuff, and I'm like, man, that's just like not a shot you would see in today's game.
I look at someone like Sean Silver's guy, Al Horford. He did not take one shot his first 5-6 years, and then all of a sudden one season, and he was like the most efficient big man shooting threes in one season. It's not like it was a gradual increase in these threes. It was almost overnight, and the league changed instantly.
Lopez is another example of that. And if you look at Jordan, when he did come back with the Wizards, he had added a 3-point shot. He was a terrible 3-point shooter during his career with the Bulls, but by the time he came back, he was at least serviceable at that, which again is a testament to him at nearly 40 years old, adding a 3-point shot, adding that dimension to his game. Yeah, he became a mid-range jump shooter because, like Iverson, he couldn't just barrel into the paint, in your mid-30s. That just isn't going to work. And you remember how quickly Allen Iverson disappeared, and he was smaller than Jordan, but it was a different era. You got bullied in that era, and MJ going into the teeth of the defense wasn't going to work. Whereas nowadays, I kind of feel like players can live like that for a little longer, just because of the way the rules are different. So okay, maybe you guys are bringing me around a little bit. The bitter old man, the Celtics fan, couldn't stand the fact that in the mid-90s the Celtics were coached by M.O. Carr and had Eric Montross as a draft pick, and the Big Three got old and Reggie Lewis died and everything went to shit. Is maybe starting to say, okay, this Bulls thing that bothered me so much as a middle schooler, I can get around on that. I will say during quarantine, we all have time. I watched Space Jam for the first time in my life. I'd never watched. Don't like Michael Jordan or the Bulls. Why would I have watched Space Jam? So, but I did get around.
I don't know, to see him maybe get abducted and chained by basically that guy was Krause, that fat alien. That was Krause. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
I was a camp counselor at a basketball camp from probably 14 to 22, 23. And every summer, after lunch, you go and the little kids watch the movie. You had to kind of watch over them, and it was always Space Jam as well. I've seen Space Jam so many effing times. If I never saw it again, I would be totally happy. As much as it
would be too soon if you never saw it again.
Here's the interesting thing, though, Sylver. Speaking of your Celtics, supposedly the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of this documentary, it's Pitino's highlight, which is knocking off the Bulls in '98 in his first season with the Celtics, and obviously he doesn't land Duncan, but he rolls out Ron Mercer and Chauncey Billups, and they turn up the pressure with the full court press, and they get the better of Jordan. You're not going to want to watch that? Come on.
Yeah, maybe I'll tune in for that. I remember that as a banner night of my youth. It was Halloween night.
It was a sleepover at Brett Hirschman's house. Shout out to Brett. Yeah.
There you go. I was a loser, so I was watching it by myself in the basement of my parents' house. And here I am 20 some odd years later. I'm still in a basement. But yeah, Travis Knight, your boy from UConn, was a big free agent signing for those Celtics that year. Wow, all sorts of reasons to get excited.
Monster contract given out to Travis Knight, and that did not play off the way that
and yet a monster contract back then. I think that was like $3 million a year or something. But that seemed like
yes. It was a lot. You were like, that's aggressive. What's crazy too is you go back and look at it. Obviously, Pitino takes the job thinking he's going to get Duncan with those picks, and he winds up and he hits on Billups. He made the right pick at 3 with Chauncey, and then he ships him out of town 40 games in.
In fairness, it took a long. I mean, Billups went to Toronto, then he went to Orlando, the Timberwolves,
Minnesota. And Minnesota is when he first started to gain traction, and then when he went to Detroit, obviously is when he blossomed. So you're right that it took him a little bit, but still, you go back and look at that draft. Billups was kind of a hit. Mercer, 10-year-old Tim was all in on Ron Mercer.
So good in college. Like,
I looked back and looked at. He averaged like 17 a game one year, and
he was a good
now
scorer, but that was about it.
That was it. That was it, and it did not live up to expectations. And then Patino, obviously. Were you in on the Patino hire as a middle schooler there, Sylver?
I bought that shit. Like, that was a track record of success. Now, he had been with the Knicks in the 87, 88, around then, and it hadn't gone very well.
Right after he went to the Final Four with the Friars. I think he took
Providence,
that job.
right?
Yeah.
And he had Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Mark Jackson was the point guard. I think Rod Strickland was in the mix there as well. You had some pretty notable 80s, 90s NBA guys there in the Knicks, and it just did not go according to plan for him. He went back to the drawing board, came back, and just kind of added to his record of success. And I feel like everybody was eating that up when he came here, and it soured so quickly.
It turned into Kentucky North too. I mean, he brings in like everyone from Kentucky, and that did not play out the way that obviously.
Walter McCarty was a good guy to bring in. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, my favorite thing about Patino all time is basically the only thing I know about Patino is calling into our work and in the morning show.
It's
best thing
ruined
ever.
the Celtics.
Best thing ever.
Yeah, they weren't wrong.
The stack music plays right after.
Yeah.
One of the best.
So good. What else have you guys been up to during?
You might have that there on the board. You might have that clip.
I might play that in a minute. I might.
There you go.
Did anybody watch the concert last night?
I did not.
No?
I'll tell you what I did. I did for the first time. I did. You guys play Codenames at all? I did Codenames on Zoom, which was a very we'll talk about it after. Great game. You should play. You guys would like it. Would like it. Yeah.
What is it, like a Cards Against Humanity or something like this, or not?
No, I mean, not kind of. It's a game that I'm not really gonna be able to describe in 30 seconds, even though I probably should be, since talking is my job. But I'm not gonna be able to get that done. But you guys would like it. It's fun. So we did that on Zoom and had a couple of drinks, and that was our day yesterday. I gotta be honest, Mace. I'm kind of like you. I'm still working at NBC. The only difference is that they don't let me leave the car, so I just work out of an SUV 5 days a week now. I don't actually go into the station, but I'm still working, lucky enough to do that. And then other than that, life hasn't changed that much during this quarantine, which is probably more of an indictment on the way that I live more than anything. But that's where we're at.
You live with within your means. It's all good. No, but you were one of the first ones, Tim. One of the sports reporters to just. It should have. I don't know how many retweets this got or likes. This was like when it initially started, when the NBA was suspended March 12th, March 13th, or whatever. You showed a video of you just packing a 4-year-old in your driveway, and that was the basketball highlight. Up until now. That's the most recent. There was the horse competition where it was terrible audio, but that one was obviously good video, and you should show that more often, I think.
There you go. I might. That was probably the peak of my athletic accomplishments. And I'll say this, the horse thing, I don't know where you were on this with Sylver, because I know that you're a basketball freak too, but I had zero interest in watching that from the jump. Like watching guys shoot 15-footers was not something that I necessarily thought was going to be enjoyable. And from everything I've heard, it turns out it was not.
Yeah, I mean, I did not watch it. Frankly, like, I'm not a big TV guy anyways.
Yeah.
Outside of like games that, I feel like I should be watching just to have it on. I'm a big, God, I sound like I'm Hook's age, for God's sake. Like, I'm a big sports on the radio guy. So like, my idea of an evening, like once I get my kid to bed, have dinner with the wife, maybe watch a show or two. Like so during quarantine, we were just kind of like, all right, let's watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from start to finish. Just
can't go wrong.
Let's go. So again, I'm Marshall Hook's age. I went on eBay. I found like season DVDs that were like, $6 for the season. Because if you watch it online, it's like $2 an episode. So I was like, bump that.
Yeah. Oh, here he comes.
Wait a second now. What is it? Why am I being attacked here exactly? What's going on?
I'm just saying I went online to buy some DVDs, which sounds like something, somebody your age would do, Marshall.
I see. I may be old, but at least I have real internet that seems to work
Ooh.
better than whatever you've got in your basement going there. You sound like you're underwater.
Are you telling me this isn't high quality? Look at the glow of my skin here in this wonderful environment for a Zoom chat.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I may be old, but I have lived a life the likes of which you will never experience.
These are fighting words.
Actually, I really couldn't come close to what Marshall has done. The more I learn about that man, the more I am amazed. But like watch a couple of TV shows, and then I've been down here pounding nails, putting up drywall, and usually I listen to a game on the radio while that's going on. So, I haven't necessarily had a lack of things to do. In fact, I'm so damn exhausted from chasing the 2-year-old around the house. A lot of nights I just like fade straight up after dinner because it is people who have multiple kids. I know you guys don't have kids, and God bless you because you're probably living the best quarantine that you can.
We're one of the lucky ones. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, it is a lot. Like I have 1 2-year-old, and I know friends who have 3 or 4 kids, and it's just like, how do you possibly do that? Because he's awake for maybe 10, 11 hours a day, and then I'm trying to like work from home and send emails and get on phone calls and stuff like that. And it's just like 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night when he goes down. I'm just
it's over.
No, a horse tournament would just put me to sleep anyways. So whatever.
Yeah, you didn't miss much from everything that I've heard when it comes to horse. The TV stuff, I got to be honest, I'm big into Ozark right now. I don't know where you're at with this, Mace. That's kind of my show right now. And then I did Narcos Mexico, which I really like too. So those were the two and obviously, I mean, look, I know you're not a TV guy, Sylver, but if you didn't watch Tiger King, I'm going to think a lot less of you.
We'll prepare to think a lot less of me. I've never watched.
Come on, man. That was a national phenomenon. Oh.
I shunned the mainstream. I will say that I was driving to my alma mater, Stonehill College, today. In our efforts to social distance and get fresh air, we went to an abandoned college campus to take a walk as a family in the nice sunny morning. And there's a sign company up the street from campus, and they had like their sign out front with like the little sign underneath with the letters on, like advertising something. Usually it would say like sale and it said Carol Baskin. Apparently trying to make a pun on Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she killed her husband. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah.
What? You just spoiled it for me.
Yeah, all right.
I know. It sounded like you were definitely going to watch it right after we hung up. There's no question about that. You watched it, right, Mace?
I didn't get through the whole thing, to be honest. I was going.
What show am I on right now? What are we doing?
You're with the old people, apparently. No, but yeah, I mean, I know what happened. I know what it is. It's Hicks in north of Florida, and they just have tigers and they eat people. Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, honestly, to be honest, I'm with Sean too. I'm not that much of a TV guy. I can't get into things. I talked to you, Tim, once about maybe 6 months ago. I said I just got through Breaking Bad. And I remember you saying like, it's kind of overrated for what it is. And I respect that opinion. I thought it was really good. But I'm like, I need to get into other things. But as I mentioned before, and you're the same, I mean, this hasn't really changed my scenario. I'm still working 2 jobs currently. So like, I don't have a lot of time, to sit down and binge a couple episodes of a new show. So, I mean, I know what happens. I've actually been quasi taking part of on the Jones show. They've been doing the Blair Binge Project, I believe they're calling it. And just to pass the time, they're each throwing out a show that they think the other hasn't seen yet, calling it like a guilty pleasure. It's not like The Sopranos or whatever. A guilty pleasure. And
like The Masked Singer.
Not the mass. That hasn't been one of them. I think one that's already done with, like I believe Jones was the first one, and he said Vampire Diaries, which of course, that works for the Night King himself, Jones. And so they watched it, talking about Christian and Jeremy, spent a couple days, and then spent like 3 segments analyzing it. And I'm like, all right, do what you got to do, guys. And so I took part in in one of them, Jeremy's. It was like a Robot Chicken-esque. What was the name of the show? I Think You Should Leave. It's like
I've heard of that.
like a Tim and Eric kind of thing, you know.
Okay.
So, that
Bizarre
those
humor.
6 episodes, exactly. 6 episodes, 50 minutes each, so very easy to get through. So I've been taking kind of advice from them to try to try to be hip in the TV series scene.
Well, the lack of show prep that was done by both of you by not watching Tiger King is pretty appalling. And I just want to clarify this before I get roasted on Twitter or YouTube or whoever's listening. Breaking Bad is very good. It is not over. It's just not my favorite show of all time. Yeah, I think it's one of the best ever. It's just not my favorite. I just want to make sure that no one takes that out of context. Now, the one thing this week that I actually am looking forward to, because I'm a huge draft guy, like I said, off season, is the NFL draft. I think this is going to be really interesting when it comes to the Patriots. And, I'm sure that there are going to be some teams. I would go out on a limb and say it's going to be like I'm trying to think of just horribly dysfunctional franchises. I would say like the Bengals. I would expect the Browns. Give me some other teams that are just horrific. Probably the Lions.
The Bucks.
I don't know about them. I don't know about them anymore. But I would say like the Lions, the Browns, and the Bengals are probably going to have internet situations like Sylver here, where their picks are going to be their picks are going to be cutting in and out here. We're not really going to know who they're taking. But for everyone else, I think it's going to be really interesting. I hope the Patriots move up and draft Tua. I need it. I need it so bad. That's what I want. If you're going to move on from the greatest quarterback of all time, go all in and grab yourself a franchise quarterback like Tua. I'd be into that.
What would it take to go from 23 to 3?
I don't know if they have it on. I don't know if they can, really, right? Like, I don't know if they you'd have to throw out like a future first round pick, I think, because you don't have a second round pick.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. A first round
23, pick. A future first, and then like 2/3. I don't even know if that gets it done, because you look at some of these packages that people have given up in the past when they move up for like RG3 and stuff. It's outrageous. So I don't know how realistic it is, but man, if you could swindle like the Lions or even the Dolphins at 5, because maybe Tua falls there, get it done. Get it done. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Speaking of first-round picks, real quick, I just saw a screen cap not too long ago, an hour ago, when the Saints traded up with the Redskins to get Ricky Williams in '99, I think. They got like 9 picks. It was ridiculous.
Whole draft. But like the Rams with RG3, I'm trying to think. Goff, when did the Rams draft trade up to get Goff?
Both the Rams and the Eagles went up to 1 and 2, and they traded everything.
The monster packages for those guys. So it would take a lot, but I don't know. Stidham, if he's the guy, I guess, but
we don't know that.
You know that the Patriots are going to do nothing that could possibly.
They're going to trade. Yeah, they're going to trade 23 for 2 second-round picks. Is what they're going to do. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely. So I mean, like my whole thing with the NFL, I think you could tell from my thoughts about Michael Jordan is I just generally don't like spotlight hoggers. So at the time that the NBA playoffs are going on and the NHL playoffs, which are frankly the supreme postseason in all of sports, the fact that the NFL draft tries to horn in and do multiple nights and all this bull crap and expects me to sit around and watch it in the middle of April when the weather's nice, if I'm not watching the playoffs for the NBA or the NHL, like, screw you, go to hell. I don't care about your manufactured drama. And frankly, the Patriots never do anything interesting on draft day anyways, so why? The only reason that I would tune in for this is for exactly what you mentioned at the outset there, and that's the technical difficulties. If teams can embarrass themselves, if the NFL can have a little bit of egg on their face, the more the merrier. I would love it. NFL, go back to sleep until July or August. I don't care.
If someone could like hack into the Zooms or something like that, and you get randos just coming up and making picks, give it to me. Yes! That would be absolutely, man. I'm so with you, because then like the Cardinals have to call in again and be like, that was not. I just want to make sure that was not us. We did not actually take that guy, and they're like, okay, all right, no, sorry, it's already off the board. I mean,
and think about like how much work it would be for all these situations to get cleaned up. So at a time when there's really nothing to write about, to talk about. Like there would be just so much news coming out of this. They'd be like, well, the Cardinals have launched an investigation, into their firewall provider or whatever, and some guy goes to court, some dude goes to jail.
Kaspersky has been sued by the Arizona Cardinals.
It would go to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, much like the Tom Brady Deflategate case. It would be fantastic. We'd have scintillating radio just like we did back in 2015.
So Tim, what we learned from Sean right here is hating spotlight huggers. Sylver has always hated Tom Brady. So you heard that here. For 20 years, he hates the guy, and he hopes he disappears
Tom Brady,
immediately.
spotlight hogger. Wow, what a kick in the pants on the way out the door for Tom there, Mason. Jeez.
That's what you
I
said.
know. What do you write for the Globe there, Mace? That's a
Well, I mean,
article.
Is there an opening now? I don't know. No. The point is, I'm looking forward to the draft itself. Like you said, the technical difficulties just to laugh at the hilariously bad situation. Have you seen the movie Unfriended? It's not that great of a movie, but there's like 6 friends that are on Skype. They all eventually get killed at the end of the movie. But it's like I just want to see like someone from.
I know. This is tough. This is tough.
Spoiler alert: we spoil every single show and movie during this live stream. I just want to see a box pop up, someone from the dark web, and just screw everybody. I don't want anyone to get hurt or anything, but just I want this because I think of, was it 4 or 5 years ago, the Instagram video, was it Laramie Tunsil, the offensive lineman?
Yeah, the gas mask.
Smoking the ball, and then he should have been a top 3 pick. He dropped to like 14 and missed out on millions and millions of dollars. Again, I don't want anyone to get hurt or anything, but I'm kind of rooting for something like that because, please, I need some entertainment in what's been going on the last month.
Let's have a box pop up and like there's porn going on. Like let's have a box pop up and it's
Dave
like
Gettleman is already on it.
A bunch of like people in furry costumes. Just
right.
Let's have.
Let's make it weird. Let's make it weird. No, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how they execute it too, and to see if the production quality there is going to be higher. If we're going to have a horse type situation here, we're like, what did they say?
Yeah,
he said what?
Goodell in his basement too. What's that going to be like?
I'm pretty sure. Like, I think it was Harry Callis, the old broadcaster. I think he was the Phillies guy. I think he was the voice for NFL Films, like way back in the day. Like the Los Angeles Raiders came rumbling into town, like that. I wish that he was still around so he could do a retrospective of this draft and be like, then suddenly the Arizona Cardinals were hacked, and provide this dramatic script to whatever shenanigans is going to happen out there. They drafted so-and-so. No, wait, they actually drafted so-and-so. I don't know.
That'll be great. I wish. Initially, it was supposed to be obviously in Vegas, and they were supposed to come out like I don't know if it was the first.
Yeah, on a barge.
10, yes. Like, what are we doing?
Yes. Oh
what
my
do
God,
we do? Do we need to make it even longer? Let's just have one round of the draft for 7 days of the week, and let's just the NFL totally water down the sport and kill itself. What are we doing?
I disagree with you guys more.
It's like when WrestleMania had the wrestlers come out in the little carts to the ring, and it took forever.
It's better than that. That WrestleMania walk that takes 11 minutes now. I mean,
the freaking Undertaker.
Yeah, just gasp by the time he gets to the ring.
Yeah, but that's one time. We're gonna do this for the entire first round, and it'll be a 7-hour production. No, I'm good. I can't hear Mel Kiper for 6.5 hours. I can't do that.
Oh, I can't get enough of it. I will say this. I do miss the Saturday, Sunday just marathons when it was just the first 3 rounds on Saturday, and then we're running it back right on Sunday. Those were the days. That's what I really liked. But no, I love the draft. Love it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's not the NBA draft. Don't get me wrong. That's what I really get hot and bothered for. That might be my favorite day on the sporting calendar. I wish I was kidding about that. But the NFL draft is good stuff too.
And obviously, since it will be in this setting, this virtual Zoom setting or whatever the hell they're going to use, if every pick is still like 8-9 minutes, all you got to do is take your mouse, select. There you go. You're done. It's a fantasy draft. I want 90 seconds each. Treat it like a fantasy draft in August with all your buddies. Let's move this along. I'm not, if I swear to God, if Joe Burrow goes 6 minutes on the clock at number 1, I'm shutting it off because screw you. You've had 6 months to think about this. Make the pick.
Maybe,
let's move
on. Maybe they haven't finalized their board yet. We don't really know. We don't really know where they're at. So
they are the Bengals.
And hurry up.
Yeah. I will say this though. We actually have like a pretty between the Jordan documentary tonight and then obviously the draft on Thursday and taking it into the weekend. We actually have some sports stuff this week. So that'll be good because man, There is certainly a void right now. And to talk about the conference tournaments in college basketball, the NCAA tournament, like those are my favorite events outside of the draft on the sports calendar. And man, it's tough to just have those wiped out, and it's been tough with no sports here too, because both the Bruins and the Celtics I thought had legit runs in them.
Absolutely. And Tim, I believe you were live on air when all these cancellations started happening, and you and Hardy were just basically reading Twitter for 3.5 hours, and it was the most entertaining thing. Like, what? That is canceled now? It was unbelievable. But yeah, finally, some things are happening this upcoming week, and we absolutely need it. I agree.
We so when I was watching the benefit concert thing, which apparently you guys didn't watch because you're young and hip and have other things.
Oh yeah, the concert. Sorry about that.
No. I'm saying like just like during that, they had it was basically video performances by artists that everybody knows, interspersed with little clips talking about like stuff that's happening around the world, trying to put a positive spin on stuff. And they interviewed somebody from South Korea who was a doctor. And they were just like, yeah, we're seeing things get better. And they said that that South Korean baseball had actually started again, like their professional league. And they're just playing in empty stadiums. And I was like, well, shit, I know South Korea was a little bit ahead of us on this whole curve, but maybe there is some hope for some baseball this summer. And that would be great for baseball in particular. Because I think that no sport has been lagging behind the other ones more in recent years than Major League Baseball. If baseball can kind of just grip America and give them a 6-foot embrace, a nice safe embrace, and get back into people's hearts again, it might be an interesting thing. I heard obviously on the Hub with Hardy talking a lot about the golf tournament that might happen in June, but that's still like a month and a half away at this point.
Yeah. There was Taiwanese baseball. I think the bench is cleared. So, I mean, there was something there. So hopefully we see more countries, obviously, they weren't concerned about, distancing. They were getting in each other's faces. Like, what, we're cool. We'll just grab each other's collars a little bit and not worry about Corona. So, I mean, there's another country. Hopefully that continues and then, eventually gets to us.
So Mace, when you go in there, do you see anybody in the building ever, or is it
no
just
one's here?
You by yourself? No, it's just
no
you?
one is here. I'm looking out in the parking lot. It's just me.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It reminds us back in the day at Brighton, being in the basement, and I actually kind of like it. So I'm good. Just being the only person coming into the building. Obviously,
I'll tell you,
with the social distancing, all that crap.
I love the Brighton studio, not only because I lived at the time like maybe 90 seconds away from it, but the food scene in Brighton, Jim's Deli.
I miss it.
Buffs, RIP to Wings Express, but Fiorella's, a lot of other places out there. The food scene was unmatched there, and I was probably about 15 to 20 pounds heavier when we lived over there too.
Yeah, you may miss the food, but you made a health change in your life was made for you. So you're looking nice and svelte today. Are you with your free time? Are you training for any marathons upcoming? Are there any sort of fitness goals that anybody has in mind?
I am doing. I'm running a lot right now. I'm following like a half marathon training program because if I don't, I really have nothing else. I have no excuses not to be somewhat active right now. So that's what I'm going with. Not exactly a fast pace today for the long run, but we got it done. Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Yeah,
leave it to old man Sylver to realize that, hey, let's get the exercising, guys, because we are not a spring chicken for much longer. So
yeah, I mean, I could tell you all about that. I've actually been losing weight since I've been at home because I'm a fatty at work. I got all kinds of boxes and bags of snacks in my desk, and I just munch in my cube all day long. Like, my coworkers must hate me. But now that I'm in the house, it's kind of like, we're not going to the grocery store a whole lot. And if we do, those things aren't getting bought. There's a lot of healthy stuff in the house right now with a few exceptions. And we're trying to ration. So the Silver Fox is looking slim for my age 37 year right here, my Frank Castillo year.
Oh, great. Patrice Bergeron. I'm trying to think of 37s.
Oh, here
37's Man,
Is that an
37's
Alfonso Denard 37? Is that right? Here we go. Let me
Wow.
look that up.
great call.
I think it is because 37 is
Rodney
I
Harrison.
thought that 37 was a number that got crapped on, that athletes just never liked to wear it. So I kind of took in 37 as like a charity case as a youth. So I'm aware of a lot of 37s in Boston sports history. I believe Vitor Favorani is a 37.
There's a pull.
If you remember him from the Celtics. So
I was going to say it's a
excited.
gross basketball number. It's a gross
terrible.
basketball number.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think the reason I chose this because I think I got it for like my practice penny back when I was on JV in high school, and I was just like, all right, well, who the hell wears 37? I got to figure this out. And then it turns out that 25 years later on the Jones Show, it winds up helping me out. So
awesome.
There you go.
During the Dong Report, of course.
Comes full circle. Yeah, hopefully the Dong Report comes back because for now it's the Dongless Report, which is okay. But
Dongless Report, pretty fun. And Jones Show, overall, pretty fun. Like, I mean, those guys are doing a good job, like making, chicken salad out of what we have right now. Like I've listened a few nights. Again, old man goes downstairs with his radio and his drill and does some shit. Just trying to finish out the video game room down here. But yeah, listen to a few shows that sounded good.
Yes.
You guys know what this is, of course.
That's the classic.
Yeah.
Well, this is not the classic that they came out with a few years ago, but this is the Christmas '89 right here.
Right. Oh yeah.
Got the next generation right here. Got the original Mario Kart.
Oh, show them all. Show them all.
Well, I only have 3, and I have a VCR because I have all the old wrestling pay-per-views on tape.
Nice.
And a lot of like late '80s, early '90s basketball games, which is a good time. I got the PS2. So
I'm about to break out the PS2. Put some NFL Street on that. I'm close to that.
So it's coming together down here. It's just this work will, by the time we're all ready to see each other again, I'm going to want to sit down here and play more video games. So
yeah, probably.
I like it. That's pretty good.
You got the wiring done, and we're ready. We're ready to rock.
I'll say this, you're right about.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're right about Jones's show. It is good. I mean, I tuned in this week, and he did take a side swipe at Ray Allen. But other than that, it's been enjoyable. They've been doing a good job.
I love that Ray Allen, and again, it's never something that Ray Allen, comes out about without somebody asking. I love that Ray Allen set some people straight this week on that bullshit. And speaking of things that sound good, Joe Murray's podcast has been pretty good as well.
Check that out. That's a daily thing, right? Sitting there with Joe Murray.
Yeah, and he's got a whole another round planned for next week, and I know he's looking to get us involved as well in that. And Joe's also, I'll drop a tease. Joe and I have something that we're working on for this week, I believe. So keep an eye on the tweet machine for that.
Nice,
Can't
man.
wait.
Nice.
Can't wait. To wrap it up or to bring it full circle to basketball real quick, I'm sure you've heard LeBron's comments saying like, oh, we need a mini camp. We need 6 to 8 preseason games when the game comes back. Dude, F off with that. I personally would like to see, because you are professionals, you are humans, you need to take care of yourself while you're at home. This isn't vacation time. This isn't time to just dick around and just eat yodels. And what's the deal with Jason Tatum not picking up a basketball? That's besides the point. When they come back, say hypothetically June 1st, basketball's back. I personally like to hear what you guys think. I want the playoffs to start immediately. I don't want to see a regular season game. I don't want to see 9 or 10 seed, give them a chance, a preseason game or 2. I want to see playoffs immediately and see how everyone looks.
I'd say give me the play-in tournament that they talked about, Adam Sylver and company talked about, where you take the 7, 8, 9, and 10, and there's a format for it, but basically you figure out the 7 or 8 seed that way. If you're worried about teams missing out, like the Trailblazers, a team that's just getting healthy right now, or New Orleans with Zion, if you want them to have a chance, run something like that. But yeah, I'm all for diving back into playoffs. I just don't feel like this is going to be happening, but you got to hold out some hope, I suppose. So I respect that, Mason, that you are keeping the flame lit.
I swear to God, if Time Lord isn't healthy by the time we're done, I'm going back into quarantine. I'm staying there.
There you
Because,
go.
dude,
There you
let's
go.
go. For real.
Sylver, I think yours is probably the one that is the most realistic in terms of kind of out of the box things that take place. Me personally, I would love if the NBA went NCAA tournament. Like, you know what? One loss and you're out. Let's go.
Ooh.
I think that would be so interesting for the NBA. Look, there's already going to kind of be an asterisk with this season anyways, but I think it would be really, really cool to see a team and to see you just throw everyone in the league in there, bracket it up, and let's go. I think that would be really fun.
Well, I do enjoy chaos. So just like I was saying about the NFL draft, the more stuff that gets messed up, the better. Let's see an NBA March Madness bracket where things get all blown to shit. I'm for that.
And yeah, right. Because like realistically, when you talk about leagues, I would say the NBA is the most. I mean, consistently, it's the most. Why can't I think of the word? But
they think outside the box more than the other leagues.
Well, yeah, no, but in terms of just like the outcome, it's the most.
Redundant. Yeah.
Right. Like we kind of know what's going to happen in the postseason, right? I mean,
Yeah, there's no
more
shocks.
often than not. So I think that's a way that you would kind of get some unique stuff. They would never go for it, I don't think, but no. I think that would be really, really fun. I will say that. Yeah.
Well, who knows? I mean, it may not be like traditional ways of making decisions are getting thrown out the window. So for people to actually pay attention to it and get ratings and stuff like that, they may have to think outside the box.
Yeah. All right. So I got a frozen pizza that I got to go take care of. Have you been watching Portnoy's frozen pizza reviews? They have been really funny.
Freshetta got boned. I'm telling you, Freshetta.
Yeah. So I'm going frozen pizza right now, and then we're gonna watch this Michael Jordan doc. Maybe we can talk about it next week. I know Sylver would prefer a George Mikan 10-part documentary, but I'm looking forward to the Jordan one tonight.
I can't wait for the taco one in 20 years. That's me personally.
Oh my God, can't wait.
Hey, this was fun, guys. I appreciate it, Marshall. Thanks for hooking us up.
Hey,
Marshall.
Weekenders program director Marshall Hook, really appreciate it.
My name is Ace, and I've been on this case.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
I'm gonna get back to my birthday. All right, peace.